everybody. In today's video, we are going to do a deep dive on the chat capabilities within Model HQ and just provide a very quick overview of how to use chat, what are some of the cool things that you can do with it, especially around sources, as well as exploring some of the different capabilities in terms of the generation settings, as well as some of the different models that are available. All right, so let's go ahead and let's dive right in. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is pick a model. If you don't know what to pick, you can just say choose for me. We also have a business mode setting in which the model is automatically selected based on a set of configurable defaults. So if you are rolling this out to a set of business users who don't want to be bothered with dealing with and looking at different model names, all they have to do then is enter the application and the model will be already selected for them. In this case, though, we are in developer mode and we are looking at the full list of models that are available for chat. The first thing I would really note about them is that the size of the model is actually this very first parameter that you see after the model name and version. The model size, you can really use as a proxy for the speed of the model. Smaller models are going to be faster, but then inversely correlated with the quality. So generally speaking, larger models are going to give more high quality output. If you are running on a 16 gigabyte laptop, we would recommend that you stay with 7 billion parameters and less. You can, with 16 billion parameters, go up to 9 or even up to a 14 billion parameter model, but you can at times run out of memory, so we would recommend staying in 7 billion and less. If you are running on a 32 gigabyte RAM machine, then you can go all the way up to 22. Again, we would recommend a really good sweet spot anywhere from a 3 billion parameter model up to 14 is typically the range that we tend to do the most work in. Let's go ahead. I will start actually with a really small model, just so we can start with something that's really quick and fast. This is from the latest Llama 3.2 release. It's a 1 billion parameter model. It's really fast, but it gives a pretty good high quality output, especially if we just want to get a basic chat. So in this case, I'm just going to ask a pretty simple question. Just so we can get a quick generation going, we can see. So you can see the output is well structured. It's pretty good quality, especially if you're asking more general open-ended questions. There's no need in a lot of cases to use a larger model, and you get really nice output, again, if you're looking at something that is a fairly generic kind of output. All right, now, what can you do to adjust this? Well, this actually initiates the chat. This actually downloads onto your local machine all of the chat output. I'm going to come back to this. Source actually enables you to connect sources and start chatting with different documents, tables, and images. This gearbox is actually the settings. So it's important to know this will actually enable you to change the maximum output. We, by default, set the app at 1,000 tokens. Depending on the context window of the model, we actually provide up to 4,000. One thing just to caution, since you are running this on a local machine and in a local memory, if you set the generation really, really large, first, it can take some time, and second, it's actually going to consume a lot of memory on the machine. So we actually set it by default at 1,000. For a small model like this, I wouldn't worry about it, but certainly if you're using a 7 billion or 14 billion parameter, I wouldn't go probably past 1,000 tokens or so. You can set the temperature and the generation. This is going to impact the randomness, the variety of the output. All you have to do is save whatever settings that you've made, and then those settings will immediately apply. You'll also see then the max output is displayed right below. And then if something's going wrong, and it happens sometimes, a chat is going on and on and on, you just want it to stop, all you have to do is press the X key, and that will stop the generation early. All right, so let's go and let's look at a different model, just so we can see the performance from a couple of different models. Why don't we look at Phi 3, really high quality model from Microsoft. Microsoft has the Phi 4 model coming out pretty soon. Phi 3 is pound for pound one of the more accurate models that we've seen in our testing. Again, I'm going to just ask a simple question. So again, you can see a good high quality generation and pretty fast still. So this is a 3.8 billion parameter model. Again, we find it's a really good model to use, good high quality output, really nice high generation speed, and quite accurate in terms of its results. So now let's just do a quick example of using a source. So the first source that we're going to use, when you click on source, it actually pops up this menu that you can upload a file. The most general case is that you're going to upload a business document, a PDF, a PowerPoint, a Word document. There's several other document types that are supported as well. We're just going to look at one of our go-to examples. We're going to look at an executive employment agreement. These are 15-page PDF documents. And once you've loaded that, the document is actually ready to be integrated into a prompt so you can start asking model questions. You'll note when you have a source loaded that the name shows up right here. That's to tell you that you aren't just entering in a general question to the model. You're actually asking a specific question in which the model is going to be looking at selected portions of that document to try to answer your question. Now, a very simple question is, the base salary, and we submit our question, and we get our answer back. It also then actually tries to derive for us what was the source, what was the information that was in that document that the model used as the basis for that answer. So again, it's a really nice quick way for us to do a fact check and then to also see basic information about where that information is contained within the document. Now we could go ahead and we could continue to ask questions. What is the effective date? And we could go ahead and we could keep asking questions. When we were done with this, we could save. This would download all of these results if we were trying to copy and paste it into some report. But then when we're done with this document as a source, we don't want to ask any more questions to the executive employment agreement. All we do is click on source again, and then we can see the source was turned off, and then notably we no longer see it at the top of our chat box. So now, just as an example, if we were to say, question. I have no idea what the model is going to say because that's just a general question out into the universe. What is the annual rate? That's obviously a meaningless answer because the model didn't have any factual basis for that. It was just drawing on some statistics that had happened in its pre-training. So again, you can see the benefit then of a prompting with a source when it's actually fact-based in reading from a document versus just an open context type of query. All right, now let's go to the next type of source. Because one of the more fun things to do is to be able to chat with an image. So instead of looking at a document like this, let's actually pick up an image. And this is one of my favorite test images. It's just a nice picture, a woman and her dog. It looks like it's sunset. They're playing on the ocean. And so we're going to load that as a source. And now what this is doing, again, remember, everything is running locally on the machine. So it's actually loading into memory a vision model, good at decoding that information that's in that image and then being able to answer any questions that we have based on that. So now what we see, our source is this demo, and you can see now the model name has changed because now this question is actually being asked to our vision model. And so I'm just going to ask a very basic thing to get us started. It takes just a second, but again, what's so powerful and so cool is all of this processing is happening locally on our machine. So now you can do this really complex, really cool multimedia processing, and you can do all of it on your local machine at zero incremental cost. Again, I would expect the model to come back and say, yes, it looks like they're having a really nice time. All right, so Now, when we're done with this, we can detach the source. Again, we've turned that off. And now we're back to just a general context. All right, so that concludes this video. In the next video, we're actually going to do a deeper dive. We're going to look at some larger models and some more complex queries. We'll also do a scenario in which we look at a table as a source that we can begin to chat with.